Did you know that having better finances than 95% of people is actually quite easy? You don't need a six-figure salary, you absolutely don't need to haggle over a bag of Doritos, and you don't need to get rid of everything that you enjoy in life. As a kid, I always wanted to know how to stay above the average and have extra money in my pockets. I studied and searched hours on end to find an answer. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to do this, so you can get ahead of 95% of people. Step 1. The numbers that 95% of people ignore actually matter. Most people assume they can control their money, but I ask you this very simple question. How much do you burn every month? If they give you a blank stare, then you know it is not good. This is exactly why many people feel stuck. If you don't know how much money you spend each month, you're basically driving with no wheels. You're making random financial decisions and praying that it would all work out somehow. But the hard truth is, it won't. If you can put even half of what I'm about to share into practice, you'll be far ahead of most people. Think about it. Studies show that over 90% of people don't know how much they spend every month without looking at their bank app. And almost nobody knows about break-even point. I'll cover that later, and it could completely shift the way you see money. Here's the thing. Most people go through life never knowing these simple numbers. They might have a decent income, maybe even a solid financial situation on paper, but deep down, they feel anxious and constantly behind. And that's the worst part. You don't have to live like that. Once you take control of your numbers, you'll feel confident about your money. No more being overwhelmed. No more asking, where did it all go this month? Instead, you'll start making decisions that actually build wealth, and you'll see the progress happening right in front of you. So, how do you do it? How do you go from financially lost to fully in control? It all begins by asking yourself a few brutally honest questions. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through 5 of the most important numbers you need to know. When you ask people how much they spend each month, they usually give you a number that's clearly an estimate at best. They'll say, I feel like it's around that amount. More often than not, people's real spending is much higher than their guess. This number is your burn rate, the true amount of money you're spending each month. If you don't know your burn rate, it's difficult to plan for anything, because you're essentially going into the storm, hoping you don't crash. We want to operate calmly and strategically, not on autopilot. So how do you figure out your burn rate? No spreadsheets or budgeting apps are needed right now. Let's keep it simple. Log into your bank accounts and review the last 3 months of your spending. Add up the total amount spent each month, including everything, yes, even the cinema tickets you bought or that extra tank of gas you had to fill up during your road trip. Once you have the totals for each month, divide by 3 to get your average monthly spending. This is your burn rate. This number is as real as it gets. If anything, your actual spending might be a little higher than you think, so you might want to add 15% to that number as a buffer. If you're not happy with what you see, don't panic. This is just the first step to understanding your financial situation so you can start making informed decisions. In the upcoming steps, I'll show you exactly how to take control of your finances. Step 2. How deep is your financial gap? The moment you see your debt clearly laid out in front of you, something shifts. No more guessing or hoping things will get better on their own. When you know exactly how much debt you're in, you can begin to take charge. You might be surprised to learn that living a financially secure life is still possible, even if you're carrying debt. But first, you need to measure your debt. Let's start by assessing how big your financial gap is. Make a list of everything you owe: credit card balances, student loans, car loans, mortgages, personal loans, and even that store card you opened up for a quick discount. Write down the interest rates and the minimum monthly payments for each debt as well. This is the baseline you need to move forward. Now, use the debt payoff calculator to determine how long it would take to become debt-free if you were only making minimum payments. The link is in the description. Make sure you subscribe to the channel because here's a reality check. If you're dealing with high-interest credit card debt, say 25%, and you're just paying the minimum, you could be stuck with that debt for decades. But here's the crucial part. When you face these numbers head-on, you're in a position to take control. It's like avoiding a mechanic's visit out of fear, only to realize that once you know the issue with your car, you can take steps to address it. With your debt, even small changes can have a big impact. For instance, adding just $100 more each month toward your high-interest debt can help you pay it off years sooner. The longer you ignore your financial gap, the bigger it becomes. But once you confront it, you have the power to overcome it. Step 3. Are you living on the edge financially? A lot of people say they want to save, but when you ask, how much are you actually saving each month? The answers are often along the lines of, well, I tried to save, but I ended up splurging on that weekend getaway. I'll do better next month. Let's put aside the habit of turning money decisions into guilt trips, and let's also bypass the idea that a spontaneous trip can't sometimes be a good thing. The real question is, why are you only trying to save? Saving money isn't like making a New Year's resolution, it's something that should become as automatic as locking your front door when you leave the house. And honestly, saving is much simpler than that. Think about it. When life throws you a curveball, whether it's a sudden job loss or a medical emergency, you need savings to rely on. Without it, you risk making desperate decisions like having to borrow money at high interest or relying on credit cards with sky-high fees. That's why it's essential to save at least 5 to 10% of your income each month, and it should happen without thinking. If you're not saving anything right now, don't beat yourself up. Just start small. Maybe set aside $20 a month, less than the cost of a nice dinner or that impulse purchase from your favorite online store. It doesn't matter what the number is at first. What matters is proving to yourself that you can be a saver. Step 4. Is your money working as hard as you are? I'm not interested in constantly working harder as life goes on. It's like playing a game where the difficulty increases with every level, fun in theory, but exhausting in practice. Wealthy individuals don't just earn money, they make it work for them, and that's where investing comes in. Smart investors don't obsess over daily market movements or watch the news all day. They start early, stay consistent, and let time do the heavy lifting. The key is to set up automatic investments and let them grow over time. Here's a simple rule: aim to invest at least 10% of your take-home pay. If that's too much to start with, that's okay. Begin small. Even investing $100 a month at a 7% return can grow into a substantial amount over the years, and now is the perfect time to start. Step 5. Are you overspending on housing? It's surprising how many people stress over small, everyday expenses like an occasional takeaway coffee or snacks while completely overlooking their biggest financial drain, housing. When you dig deeper into their finances, it becomes clear they're spending far too much on rent or mortgages, and it's squeezing their ability to save or even enjoy life. If your housing costs exceed 28% of your gross income, you've officially entered the housing red zone. And you're not alone. Millions are in the same situation, particularly in high-cost cities where housing prices are rising faster than wages. Here's how to figure it out. Start by adding up your monthly rent or mortgage payment, utilities, maintenance costs, and any other related expenses like repairs or those weekend trips to the hardware store. Then, divide the total by your gross income, before taxes, and multiply by 100 to get the percentage. If you're sitting around 29%, you're okay for now. It's not ideal, but manageable. But once you hit 30% or more, things start to get tight, and at 34%, you're likely feeling the stress. That extra pressure isn't just about the money, it affects your relationships and overall peace of mind. So, what can you do about it? Start by recognizing where you stand, then look at your options, downsize, get a roommate, or even move to a less expensive area. Your home should be a launch pad for your financial goals, not a weight that drags you down. Now that your money is starting to work for you, it's time to set everything on autopilot. Step 2. Automate like the top 5%. Picture this. You wake up, check your bank account, and see that your bills have been paid, your savings are growing, and there's still money left for you to enjoy without any guilt. On the 5th of every month, automated transfers move money into your savings and investment accounts. A portion goes into a high-yield savings account, around 5% to 10% for your emergency fund, future goals, or maybe even a down payment on a new car. Another 5% to 10% goes into a Roth IRA, where it grows tax-free, turning into substantial wealth over time. Once your money is flowing where it needs to, you can shift your focus to something even more important, your break-even point. Step 3. Calculate your break-even point. Imagine waking up one day and realizing you no longer need to work. That's your break-even point. It's when your investments generate enough income to cover all your expenses automatically. And here's the thing, your salary doesn't need to be 7 figures. You can create a system that not only brings you closer to financial independence, but also gives you the freedom to choose how you spend your time. Once you know your break-even point, you have the option to continue working full-time, switch to a part-time schedule, take a sabbatical, or simply enjoy long afternoons at the local cafe, reading a book or exploring new hobbies. That's true freedom. So how do you reach that point? Let's break down the math and make it actionable for you. Start by calculating how much money you need each month to cover your expenses. This is your target number, the amount you need to live comfortably without relying on a paycheck. Next, use a retirement calculator to determine how much you need to invest to generate that amount monthly. Once you have your break-even number, you can adjust the variables. Want to lower your expenses? Great, that means you'll need to save less. Want to increase your income? You can accelerate your savings and investments. The key is being intentional about earning more and spending less, or ideally doing both. Knowing your break-even point is where many people get stuck, but once you understand it, you can decide how fast you want to reach it and what life looks like on the other side. If you're serious about making this a reality, your first key milestone is reaching $100,000. Why $100,000? Because that's when things begin to shift. your money starts working for you and you'll no longer feel like you're always playing catch-up. At that point, you'll start to feel ahead of the game. Stay tuned, because in my next video, I'll introduce you to a series of assets that can transform your portfolio. And the best part is, you won't even need to set foot in a bank or risk your hard-earned money there.